RCWR Show with Lee Sanders is intended for a mature audience only. The following is an Infinity One Productions presentation, keeping it honest, insightful, and interactive. Covering the latest in wrestling and beyond since 2011. You're listening to the RCWR Show. Now, your host, live from the nation's capital in Washington, D.C., Lee Sanders.
Hey, what is good, you kind people? Lee Sanders here of the RCWR Show for Tuesday night of April 27th, 2021. This is your NWA Powerrr recap and review. Happy to be doing this once again for you guys. I'm a little bit bummed out that I wasn't able to cover NWA Powerrr episode 26 minutes after it came on the air. I actually was sidelined with some personal stuff and I got a little bit lost into some paperwork. So I was not able to catch the show in real time when it premiered initially 6:05. I wasn't able to catch it because normally when I have been the past couple of weeks, I've been managing to do a nice little watch along privately and everything with some folks. And it wasn't the case this week, so I was a little bit bummed out. But, you know, I actually had the missus watching this week's episode with me. I actually had encouraged her. I said, hey, pull up a chair. Check this out. Tell me what you think about it and everything. And she walked away actually enjoying the NWA Powerrr products. So not bad, given the fact that you're able to get a casual fan. And it doesn't get any more casual than my girl, because she doesn't watch all that stuff that be coming out on a weekly basis like most of us do. You know, if you happen to be lucky enough, you can maybe get her to sit down and watch something out of an entire month. You'd be lucky if you might be able to get her to sit down and watch something wrestling related maybe 3 times. Now, if it's a documentary or something like that from the network, oh yeah, she's totally all in on that. But she enjoyed the Stone Cold biography on A&E. I know she was definitely looking forward to hearing about the Roddy Piper one as well and everything. But yeah, she actually had enjoyed NWA Powerrr. It was her first time really sitting down and checking it out and everything. And she dug it. I definitely dug this week's episode too, man. So, hey, without any further ado, let's go ahead. Let's dive right into it, man. This is your NWA Powerrr episode 26, April 27th. 2021 review, as that is all we are going to be talking about on this episode. So as I told you guys these past couple of weeks, if y'all been enjoying the NWA Powerrr recaps and you definitely want more, you know what you got to do. You definitely got to go out of your business. Make sure you're smashing that like button. As a matter of fact, while we talking about smashing and hitting and all that good stuff, you know what time it is. I gotta pull it up. Yeah, make sure you hit that like button. You're pretty much letting other folks know, especially those that's looking for some NWA content to check out. You know, you're letting them know you had enjoyed yourself here. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on all the great content that comes your way here on a weekly basis. But most importantly, that bell notification. Make sure you're hitting all the joints so you know about all the content that's going to be coming your way. Don't get left out in the dark, man. We saw some very, very pivotal developments that went down here with this week's NWA Powerrr. Probably one of the most outstanding things to come out of this episode that really sticks out to me in my mind right now is just the great storyline that's continuing to develop between Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch. And I'm telling you, I think now more and more, I've got some of my buddies that's starting to really believe in that whole goddamn son of a bitch. Lee's actually on to something with regards to Trevor Murdoch, Nick Aldis for the 10 pounds of gold. And I remember one of the things I had said to folks, I said, under the right story arc, this can pretty much be your modern Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. And At first, a lot of people, nah, but then the minute that they really started thinking about it, oh shit, he's actually on to something here. He's actually got something here. But this week, we saw that little rivalry between Murdoch and Aldis really take another turn. I loved it. Cal Davis kicking us off, interviewing the NWA World Heavyweight Champion. Nick Aldis touched upon some of the things that had went down last week as he wanted to address some of what might have been a little bit of miscommunication, possibly a little bit of controversy. And he understood Murdoch's point of view and everything and wanted to try to toss a bone to Murdoch, basically saying, look, how about you come on out here and, we'll talk about this, because what I'm proposing is you get one more shot at the national title. It's like, I'm not going to have any of my guys beat you up, no games, no shenanigans. Murdoch, come on now, let's talk about this. So Murdoch actually came out, and Murdoch took it right to the champion, saying, let's be crystal clear here. You've been making fun of me for the longest time. Right down to the point you've been constantly talking about how stupid I am, talking about how I have no place here in the NWA, night in, night out, busting my ass. I'm going through all the bullshit. I'm going through all the hoopla. Any and everything that's asked of me to do, I'm going out there and I'm doing it. And yet at the end, when it counts the most, I'm still not getting the respect that I feel is just due. And the only reason why I'm not out here kicking your ass right now, because I know how much of a detriment that would mean for my career here in the NWA. There'd be some serious ramifications as a result of that. So it's the only reason why I'm not kicking your ass right here on the spot right now, because I don't want to deal with that. Also grilled Aldis for always saying he's not championship material and all of that. So Aldis, he hears all of this stuff that he's saying, and I love how Aldis, by the way, this was a damn good promo from Aldis. I mean, it started off a little bit corny because he was trying to do all of these rhymes, drip, and I mean, it was just weird, just uncharacteristically. It was very weird hearing Nick Aldis. It was almost like, you know what it reminded me of? It was almost kind of like if you're a U2 fan, a huge U2 fan, even the most hardcore U2 fan will tell you, Bono rapping, yeah, Bono, yeah, don't do that. And it was almost kind of like we were getting a 180 with Nick Aldis at the beginning, because he was literally rhyming, and I'm going, well, it's one thing if he's maybe borrowing a little something from the late Shock G, and then maybe he's trying to, you can't even give him that out there. It was just so weird. But then it was really just, okay, after a couple of minutes, okay, this is the Nick Aldis that we've come to know and love. Okay, all right, cool. Now, he was really bringing the A game tonight with the promo work, but I love the line that he said in there where he comes right back at Trevor Murdoch after hearing what Murdoch says. He's like, man, the only thing that I'm sorry for is that I didn't put you in your place sooner. You're like, my God, listen to you. He's pretty much like that. So Aldis puts out there a very interesting stipulation, which is a 6-man main event match. This wasn't even the main event that we were supposed to be getting initially. The original main event was actually for the TV title. But Nick Aldis, having that power, having that stroke, able to shuffle things once again, as he's been dubbing himself as of late. He is the dealer. So 6-man tag team main event. Thomas Latimer, Chris Adonis, and a mystery partner, not Aldis. Aldis actually, and he gave his word. I'll give him that. He gave his word to Trevor Murdoch. Wasn't going to be at ringside. Wasn't even going to be at the commentating booth. Was definitely going to be somewhere watching it, but don't be concerned about him as far as any interference, any controversy. None of that isn't going to be coming from him. He's going to be a good boy. He kept his word, but a mystery partner would be with Latimer and Adonis to take on Murdoch, and 2 partners of Murdoch's choosing. Rules simple. Trevor Murdoch wins. He gets another shot at the national title. If he loses, then Trevor Murdoch goes home, suspended for 30 days without pay. Ooh, talk about huge stipulations right here. And I love how Murdoch came right back and said, okay, let me see if I got this straight. You know, just a couple of weeks ago, you were out here, you were talking about how I'm not even worthy of, facing you for the championship. I'm not even championship material, and yet you put some stipulations like this out there at me. You're tossing me a bone in the form of a national title. You're out here talking about how there are basically not enough men that are not quite at that point that you deem to be worthy enough to face you for the championship. Can't help but feel as though you just talking a whole bunch of hot air. You're peacocking. That's what he called him. He said you're peacocking all this. You just backpedaling when it's all said and done. I feel that you're at this point just doing any and everything in your power to put yourself in a position where you don't face someone like me for that 10 pounds of gold. All this pretty pissed off hearing that. He pretty much snaps right back. Man, it was just, you're kind of doing a double take once you see all of this play out, because you're wondering, how the hell did Aldis get out of this? Because somehow he got it out of that rebuttal from Murdoch, and pretty much Murdoch agreed to this stipulation. 6-man tag team main event. He wins. He gets a shot at the national title. He loses. He goes home for 30 days without pay. Let's come back a little bit more to that main event match, because we can't just go right to the main event match. We got to talk about some of these other matches, because some of these matches had implications in the way that main event would play out, especially as far as the opponents or rather the colleagues, the tag partners that Murdoch would end up choosing to go with him in the battle for this main event match. First match of the evening saw Ronaldo taking on Kratos. Commentators for this week: Joe Golly, Tim Storm, Velvet Sky. Refreshing to have a female sitting beside me in the missus and, asking her, hey, well, what do you think about the show so far? But in particular, I picked her brain and I said, what do you think about Velvet Sky's commentary? And she said, it's interesting. And normally I know when she says interesting, that's kind of her way of saying it's unique, and she doesn't mean that in a very good way. There's some areas that you know where she's getting at when she says stuff like that. At least I've been with her long enough to know. I know anytime she says unique, it's like, okay, what's your beef? And I had to pry it out of her a little bit. I said, what's going on? What's the deal? And she, I can't quite put my finger on it. It's like, ask me in a few more minutes. Let me listen to her a little bit more. So I gave her a little bit more time as some of the action was continuing to play out tonight. And she said, it's simple for me. Velvet Sky is very dry. Like, really? Yeah, she's very dry, not energetic enough. Her delivery is just extremely dry. She's got to work on it. There's a little potential, but yeah, very dry. I'm like, okay, all right, cool. I'm like, how about that? That's coming from a casual female wrestling fan. It's like, so, you can't say your man Lee or anybody else that, because there are droves of people that, with regards to Velvet's commentating. But you know what? Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm in a giving mood or something. I don't know. But you know something? This week, I felt as though Velvet was trying to flush herself out a little bit more. It kind of felt as though she was trying to be a little bit more loose with her commentating on this episode, and it was showing a little bit. I thought particularly, and hopefully powers that be in NWA, they'll continue this going forward for at least several more episodes. But I thought what was really most beneficial was that Austin Idol was out there at one point, and he was calling some of the action and everything. I thought that was kind of That was kind of helpful. Let me turn that Bluetooth setting off. Sorry about that, guys. There you go. Actually, no, it's still on. There we go. I thought that was their little back and forth there. I thought that was most promising. It definitely flushed her out a little bit more. We kind of got a little bit more as far as layers of personality goes. I thought that was kind of helpful there. Saul Renaro taking on Kratos. I mean, this was pretty much a one-man ass-kicking contest. Kratos pretty much just dominating all throughout this match. Mae Valentine came out. You know, she's had a soft spot there for Saul Renaro. She didn't like seeing the massacre that was going on, and she was trying to plead with Kratos to stop. Danny Deal came out. I know some of you guys had appreciated my Danny Deal impression from last week, even though it wasn't a Danny Deal impression. I was just basically inspired by Danny Deal. You know, remember that? You know, last week it's like, have I got a deal for you? You know, what did we end up dubbing that anyway? I can't remember. I think we just kind of spoofed it, and I was just doing my own little, you know, Danny Deals, you know, Tuesday deals, you know. And I guess for this week, hey, NWA Powerrr fans, have I got a deal for you? You want the new NWA Powerrr t-shirt? You can get it right here on Powerrr Deal Tuesdays. Tuesdays, the great deal for you. NWA Powerrr shirt, $24.95. I'm cutting that price down, and I'm making it $54.95. You know, it just has a crazy, like, when you hear Danny Deals, you're just picturing this crazy motherfucker. Have I got a deal for you? You're just picturing that. Danny Deal, though, he had a deal. He had a deal for Kratos. Although it was a deal that Kratos ultimately did not accept. Danny Deal came out with a steel chair. He was looking to do some business upside Kratos' dome and the rest of his body. But Kratos was not having it. I mean, he made quick work out of Kratos. I don't even think my man Danny Deal's got an opportunity to even at least raise the steel chair above his head. I don't even think he was able to make it that far. Kratos laying his ass out, continuing to just pile on the onslaught on poor little Saul Renaro. So bad, Aaron Stevens actually had to get involved. You know, we've kind of seen this play out for the past couple of weeks. Aaron Stevens getting in the face of Kratos. You know, why? All of this is unnecessary. Like seriously, you know, you won. Stop it. Kratos not hearing them, just continuing to pile on with the assault. Referee had no choice but to call this match a no contest. You heard me right. The match ended in a no contest. Tom Latimer and Chris Adonis, they came out. They walked over to Kyle Davis. They took some nice shots at Aaron Stevens. They said to Aaron Stevens, you know, you need to get more like your boy Kratos. You need to, you know, stop trying to be a little peacemaker and everything, and you need to toughen up. You need to be more like your boy Kratos. Hey, Kratos, we're pretty impressed with how you've been rolling these past couple of weeks. You know what? You just might have the right type of pedigree to be involved in strictly business. To the point, you're our third man. We've been looking for a third man for this main event match later on in the night. Tag, you're it. Kratos was down. He actually had enjoyed it. He thought maybe he would stay right there, talk to Aaron Stevens about it and everything. I mean, he pretty much act like Aaron Stevens was yesterday's pizza, and he is on to some shrimp caviar and champagne dreams and all that good shit. It was kind of like how Kratos was acting. So, continuing on, Slice Boogie, Jax Dane, with Cal Davis, they had their little one-on-one. We found out that Slice Boogie, Jax Dane, they're going to be having their match on NWA Powerrr next week, one-on-one. Slice Boogie giving a recap once again since he's been involved in NWA these past couple of weeks. Everything that's revolved around Jax Dane, basically bringing to the forefront, he's 2-0 right now against Jax Dane. And I gotta tell you, I was really, really feeling my man. I'm still a relatively newcomer to Slice Boogie, but I tell you what, man, I'm enjoying this dude. My man got some serious swag. I'm loving it. Serious swag on that microphone. He's got some serious personality. I'm digging it. If I were to try to describe the type of personalities I'm seeing in him so far when it comes to him spitting his game on the microphone, he's almost kind of reminding of a tiny, tiny little bit of Conan. Also, I see a little bit of Eddie Kingston. And I see also a little tiny bit of one other guy. Uh I think those are good names just to start with. I mean, you can't beat that. Eddie Kingston, Conan, maybe also a little bit of just a tiny bit, not too much, just a tiny bit, like out of 100%, maybe like 5%. Joseph Samael, just a tiny little bit. He's very good. He is very good on the microphone. I mean, for me, he's really been, I won't say carrying this little program that's going on here with Jax Dane, but he definitely has been making it interesting. He's definitely been catching my eye and everything. But not for nothing, I gotta give Jax Dane his props because I wasn't really quite sure, you know, how much of that fire of a rebuttal he was gonna have there for Slice Boogie, and I'm still kind of a relatively newcomer to Jax Dane, so this was my first time within recent memory really being able to, oh, okay, I get to hear this guy talk and everything. Okay, let's see what he's got. Let's see how he counters back here. And I thought what he did, it wasn't flashy. I mean, basically the total opposite of Slice Boogie. Slice Boogie got that swag. He's very over the top animated. He's full of that energy and everything. And Jax Dane, on the other hand, total opposite. Very calm. Very brief. Ain't beating around the bush. I mean, he's just putting it out there raw. And I love how he used the whole Chihuahua analogy in describing Slice Boogie, basically saying, my man, y'all nothing but bark. You ain't got no bite behind it, right? So he's like, yeah, you've owned my ass a couple of times now. Yeah, you're 2-0, but a third time, nah, it ain't happening. So we'll see. Those guys are gonna be locking it up next week. We'll see what goes down. Second matchup of the evening, Tyrus, formerly known as Brodus Clay, in action against Pope D'Angelo De Niro. TV title match, 6 minutes 5 seconds as always for the TV title match there. And at this point, Austin Idol came out. Yeah, you know what? There was no Tim Storm at this point. Forgive me. There was no Tim Storm right here for the simple fact when the stuff had went down there between Saul Ronaldo, Kratos, and all that, I almost forgot to mention post-match, Kratos did walk over to the commentary booth and he was talking some mad trash at Tim Storm. He wanted for Tim to come from behind the commentating booth and get physical with him. And Tim almost got physical. It was kind of weird too, because the way that they just broke away from that, we never did see NWA officials break both of those men up. I mean, it just continued to look as though within any second, these two men were going to throw down, and yet somehow we panned over to Thomas Latimer, Chris Adonis with Cal Davis, and we never did pan back over to what was going on there with Kratos and Storm. So it's kind of one of those, I hate to be a stickler for detail, but I'm just kind of, yeah, well, can we, like, what was going on over there? Kind of one of those type of deals. But going back, so yeah, we set that up properly for you guys. We already told you Slice Boogie, Jax Dane, that's going to be next week. Tyrus, Pope, TV title match. Good matchup. Austin Idol, out at ringside replacing Tim Storm here. And like I said at the top, just his bantering, I got to tell you, he kind of came off a little bit obnoxious to me on the commentary. I think it was for, God, was it for Back for the Attack for Austin Idol? It's like I didn't really care too much for it, but it was a nice welcome breath of fresh air for this week. I actually welcomed it, and I will admit, Austin Idol's definitely growing on me. Last thing I'm gonna do is lie to you guys and be like, oh yeah, I remember Austin Idol from, no, 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 no. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. If somebody is new to me, I have no problem admitting it. And then when I go backwards and, do some research on them and everything, right? That's learn up on your shit, especially if you're a wrestling fan. So that's what I've been doing with Austin Idol. So I've been able to, appreciate him a bit more and everything. And I loved his back and forth with Velvet Sky. It was almost as if the homework for this week was for Austin Idol to really try to help flush out Velvet Sky's personality more. And you know what? And I think mission was accomplished. She seemed to be a little bit more energetic, a little bit more charismatic, a little bit more witty when it counted the most. I think we need to have a lot more of that between Idol and Velvet Sky going forward. Tyrus, Pulp, meantime, this pretty much went down to the old 0-100 hour. It starts off with 6:05. Yeah, it went all the way down to 0, that clock. And as we all know, unless there is a submission or a pinfall, before that time, when you hit that 100 there, whoever the TV champion is, they're still the TV champion, and Pulp is still the TV champion. But you just know that the way that he's been built up so far these past couple of months, it's a win that he ain't really down for, and nor should he be. But I mean, he barely escaped here, still with the title at hand. And Tyrus was just a loose cannon. I mean, he literally even had Austin Idol trying to break him off there, trying to have him hold off. Like, no reason to attack the Pope anymore. Early on in the match, Austin Idol got involved, literally was grabbing on the legs of the Pope. You thought for sure referee sees this clear as day. You're thinking the referee is maybe going to eject Austin Idol. He does not. Right down to the point, Idol is actually able to go back to the commentating station, and he's continuing on. And then again, a couple of minutes later, interference and all. It was crazy. I mean, it pretty much ended outside the ring, where Tyrus was just choking the hell out of Pope. Referees counting down and everything. Clock hit 0. Pope still has the title, but he got an ass whooping there from Tyrus. He got a serious ass whooping there. So no doubt, I definitely would expect for Tyrus to come out next week and lay claim to the fact that right now he should be the new NWA TV champion, but because of the stupid little 6:05, so definitely Pope, D'Angelo De Niro, Tyrus locking it up again for the title. Take away that time restriction. You know it's coming. It's just a matter of time. Just a matter of when and where, as far as when that's going to go down and everything. But you also can't help but have in the back of your mind, man, Austin Idol kind of had a bit of a hard time trying to control his client there. He lays this claim about how he's taken this person to the mountaintop, how he's been able to do this for this person and does that for that person, everything. You can't help but wonder there, for what it's worth, for everything that he was trying to do to control Tyrus there, get Tyrus off of Pulp and everything. You just can't help but wonder, who's controlling who here? Who's really the MC of this whole of this whole game plan, right? Who's playing who? You just can't really help but wonder, and also have in your mind, is Austin Idol maybe taking on a bit more than he can chew right now? Is this potentially going to ultimately blow up in his face? Time will tell. We'll have to wait and see on that one. See. We had a summit between Thunder Rosa and Kamille. NWA management wanted to try to have these two women hammer out their differences, just, not really a kumbaya, but, just have a meeting of the minds, squash this drama that's been going on with these girls for these past couple of weeks. But there was a caveat to this. And I ain't talking caviar. I said caveat. There's a caveat to this. Both women had to choose somebody, anybody they want on the entire roster, to represent them and speak on their behalf. That's how this summit basically worked. So Thunder Rosa ended up going with Melina. Kamille, meantime, she went with the lovely Taryn Terrell. I couldn't believe my man Cal Davis messed up Taryn. And, I think he called her, what did he call her? I can't remember what he called her, man, but it wasn't Taryn. It was clear as day. He called her something else, and she was so livid. You're like, damn, dude, you just had one fucking task. It's like, come on. But you know what? I gotta say, for some of the wrestlers, it's kind of nice the way that they kind of play Cal a little bit, kind of poke at him a little bit when he has a couple of flubs here and there. Yeah, he's pretty good. He's pretty solid overall. I personally think he's pretty solid. But yeah, we had this summit go down, and I actually enjoyed this. It almost kind of felt like you were watching some shit after school where a bunch of girls were getting together and they're just straight trash talking. I loved it. It was so funny too, because it seemed as though the talking pieces in Melina and Taryn, it seemed as though they were more fired up than Kamille and Thunder Rosa. And you're kind of like, wait a minute here. It's like, why are you all so worked up? Boy, what's up with the intensity in y'all's voice? It's like, what's going on here? All this anger, all this pinned up, like seriously, what this girl do to you and what you do to her that got her, all bent out of shape like that. So I wouldn't be too surprised if at this point, you were to tell me somewhere down the road on NWA programming, we're maybe going to see Melina, Thunder Rosa team up, take on the team of Taryn Terrell and Kamille. Hell, even that were happening maybe at a pay-per-view. And I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with that if it got that far, went to a pay-per-view and all that. I'd be okay with that. But hot trash talking that was going on. I loved how Thunder Rosa damn near leaped over Cal to get after Kamille. You just got Cal, he's trying to be the peacemaker. He's being very vocal, very loud, trying to get all these personalities to settle down and everything. And Thunder Rosa, I swore, man, all she would have needed is maybe some Air Jordans, and she definitely would have flew over Cal's freaking head, man. I was surprised he was able to get her the way he was able to get her. I love the abrupt end to that whole summit thing, because obviously nothing was worked out. Nothing as far as a peaceful resolution came about during this summer. If anything, personalities clashed even more, and really the only way this is truly going to be settled once and for all, can't get along, get it on. They gonna have to duke it out, personally. And here's another thing. What exactly is going on there with Melina? You still can't help but question her true motives here. If she's really just trying to be a good friend, if she's really trying to be a good ally to Thunder Rosa, or if she has some other agenda that's going on here. I'm telling you, man, I just personally feel that when it counts the most, Melina's going to put some serious screws to Thunder Rosa. Yeah, and if you ask me in what fashion it's going to come in, I just kind of feel like at this point, maybe it's going to come in the fashion of Thunder Rosa possibly becoming a number one contender or something like that for the NWA Women's title. And when it comes to that match, somehow Melina screws Thunder Rosa out of it. I mean, it just really kind of comes off like that. So you just kind of still can't help but, really have that in the back of your mind there. We got one more match to talk about. That's pretty much our main event match, and I'll give some closing thoughts on this week's NWA Powerrr afterwards. Once again, you guys have been enjoying yourself so far. Please do me a huge favor, especially if you want more NWA Powerrr recaps. Hit that like, subscribe, click on that bell so you know about more content coming your way on a weekly basis. Yeah, main event match. Let's go there. Aaron Stevens, Trevor Murdoch, Saul Renaro. That's Team Murdoch right there. So now we found out who the team was. But wait. Saul Renaro, beaten up and all, trying to get a little bit of revenge against Kratos. Okay, so you kind of understood what was going on here. But Tim Storm, in his ring gear, actually came to the scene and told Saul, nah, under the circumstances, let me get in on this. Huge stakes on the line here for Trevor Murdoch. Let me go ahead, get in here in your place. And Saul was actually cool with that. So the new team, Aaron Stevens, Trevor Murdoch, Tim Storm, taking on the team of Kratos, Thomas Latimer, and Chris Adonis. Pretty solid main event matchup. I gotta say, really good main event. Tim Storm, man, I'm telling you, my man is just, I don't know how he's able to do it, but that man has the fountain of youth on his side. I mean, straight up, this guy just, he may look a little bit old in the face, but, body wise, he still has the body. All these years, he still has the body of someone in their freaking mid-40s or whatever, man. You could almost kind of say maybe it's like that dad bod that's going on. You can almost go there as well, but it's so funny because it almost kind of reminds me of my favorite Bowflex commercial. I swear I used to see this Bowflex commercial for like about almost 20 years. It would be the same bald head white guy, and he'd be like, I don't know, I think his name was Mike. Maybe his name might have been Tim as well, but it sounds like maybe it was more like Mike. My name is Mike. I'm 49 years old. I'm in a rock band. I'm living my dream, and I owe it all to Bowflex. And they just show him playing a little bass guitar, and he's got his little abs all showing. It almost kind of reminded you of that musclehead saxophone player from back in the day. If you guys remember who I'm talking about, like you had this big, cockstrong, white dude, muscles for days, and he like have one of these suspenders, and he would have his hair like in a ponytail, and he'd be playing this fucking saxophone. He was like a legit saxophone player, and you're like, what the hell is that? But yeah, Tim Storm, man, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if he's been hitting that Bowflex, man, but you'd be like, that's my hero right there, trying to be like that when I grew up. Good main event match. Closing moments, Saul Renaro, when it was all said and done, Saul Renaro actually cost Trevor Murdoch the W. You heard me right. Saul Renaro, and you're just, goddamn, you were kind of hoping there. Remember what I said from last week? I said to you guys, hey, Saul finally gets a W, right? You having problems? Better call Saul, or in this case, leave Saul in the back, or however you want to dub it. But I told you guys, I said you think maybe this could be the start to Saul having some winning streaks in the NWA, or did what happened that 1 week, was that just basically 1 week, and now we're not gonna string that together next week. Now we're gonna go right back to Yeah, and Saul wasn't even the legal man in this. If I remember right, I believe Tim Storm was probably, I'm trying to think if Tim Storm was one of the guys that was legal in this. I want to say he was, and Saul was. If you give me a second, I can actually pull up my notes here and I can actually tell you here. Let me see here. No. Let me check one more thing. Because if I don't have it, then I don't have it. But I thought for sure I had took down some moments from the closing moments of the match here. Hang on. I'm gonna check one other place here in my notes, and we'll see if I got it. I got it. Give me a second here, and I'll actually pull it up. Let me look here. No. I'll try one other thing. Hang on. Let me try this. Let me try this for you guys. And if I don't have it here, then that's pretty much it. Yeah. Saul was a factor though. He wasn't even the legal guy. He was outside the ring, but he was up on the ropes. And I can't remember what happened after that because everything was just boom, 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 boom. But Trevor Murdoch, when it counted the most, wasn't able to pick up this dub so he could go forward and face Chris Adonis for a shot at that national championship. So as a result, that's it for him. He's going to be going home for 30 days without pay. No telling what's going to be happening with that national championship title picture. You would like to believe Trevor Murdoch is probably going to be starting from the ground up by the time he gets back, if he maybe wants to try to get a shot at that champion, or is Nick Aldis maybe going to be in his headlights when he comes back? Is he maybe going to try to, I had the opportunities there for that national title. That's pretty much over and done with. Is he now maybe going to come back with a new purpose, which is to somehow try to get a shot for those 10 pounds of gold? I'd like to believe that latter part. That's probably what's going to end up happening next there. But I'm actually a little bit sad that we're not going to get Trevor Murdoch for the next couple of weeks, man, because I was really, but you know what? As far as I'm concerned, I think this is just going to further heighten the ultimate program that I think we're going to be seeing between Nick Aldis and Trevor Murdoch. Like I said earlier, pretty much a modern day Ric Flair taking on Dusty Rhodes. Got all the potential in the world to be something pretty freaking solid, without a doubt, man. But damn good episode of NWA Powerrr. For this week, I would have to say. Definitely. So check it out when you guys get a chance. I'm not sure how many of you guys actually got it on the DVR. You haven't been able to, get to it just yet. Something to do, but definitely check it out when you guys get a chance. Pretty solid episode. Pretty much got ourselves about a 58-minute episode, give or take. So, I mean, that's pretty good because normally these joints run about 40, maybe about 45, so to get a nice good bite-sized episode like we got this week, pretty damn good. I want to take this time out and thank our Patreon members, patreon.com/RCWR Show. That's where to go check out bonus audio video content you won't be able to find anywhere else. Shout out to our Patreon members, Anthony DeBlasi, Freddie, shout out to Michael Wolf, JD Davis, Tony Bean Gaming. You want the latest in all things Marvel Strike Force, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix. He's on YouTube, Tony Bean Gaming, tips, tricks, news, walkthroughs, and reviews. Shout out to Wishful Walking Videos. They're on YouTube as well. Be sure to be a good pal. Check them out. Shout out to Gino Morgan. Gino. Shout out to Screaming Bulls 1. Fantastic wrestling sculptor. If you need some custom figures or a bust made, make sure you show him some love. Hit him up. So another show in the books. Programming note, I will be back with you guys this Wednesday for a new RCWR show. We will be talking AEW Dynamite. We'll also be talking about this week's NXT. We'll sprinkle that in with some wrestling headlines, some non-wrestling headlines. You know how we do it on that Wednesday show. So make sure you tune in for that. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. You can get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords the RCWR Show. Speaking of which, I believe in about 10 minutes, let me actually see right now. Yes, in about 40 minutes, I will be officially out of the Twitter penalty box. So for those of you that are used to checking out some of my tweets, reading a little something, about 40 minutes, and I will be out of the penalty box. I've learned my lesson. Don't publicly on Twitter ever say you want to punch Tucker Carlson in the face so bad. No, that's probably better to say in a DM. Live and learn, right? Live and learn. I'll just talk my shit on the airwaves because normally that doesn't get me in trouble. So, yeah. All right, guys. Much love as always. This has been your NWA Powerrr recap. Thumbs up for this week. Let me know what you guys had thought about it. Appreciate those of you that's going to be checking this out for on demand. As far as the audio version of this goes, I'll probably maybe put it up on our Patreon channel. We'll see. And for those of you that's still waiting for the Monday night edition of the RCWR show, the audio version of it, right after I'm done here, right after I sign off, I'm actually going to edit that one. So if you're looking for it, give me about 90 minutes, give or take, and that should be available wherever you get your podcasts. All right, that's going to do it. Once again, please, if you haven't done so already, you know what I'm asking for. Appreciate the love and support as always. Till next go round, wishing all of y'all to be safe, most importantly, be kind to one another. I will see you guys next go round. Adios.